Westminster tonight, John, there's also been a U-turn over the decision to sell the forests off. Tell us more on that.
Sky sources have confirmed that the forest sell-off, the consultation that the Prime Minister has faced a lot of hostility about in recent weeks, that consultation is going to be abandoned. Instead, the government's going to set up a panel of experts to look at various issues like access to forests and biodiversity and so on. Now, at lunchtime today, in Prime Minister's questions, there was an exchange on this between Mr Miliband and Mr Cameron. Mr Miliband began by asking about the forest policy, and listen to this for a piece of candour from a Prime Minister in an answer.
Mr Speaker, can the Prime Minister tell us whether he is happy with his flagship policy on forestry?
The short answer to that is no.
I mean, even he must appreciate the irony. The guy who made the tree the symbol of the Conservative Party, flogging them off up and down this country. Now, he says they're consulting. He says they're consulting on this policy. They're actually consulting on how to flog off the forests, not whether to flog off the forests. Is the Prime Minister now saying that he might drop the policy completely?
I would have thought the whole point about a consultation is that you put forward some proposals, you listen to the answer, and then you make a decision. I know it's a totally alien concept, but what's so complicated about that?
Mr Speaker, everybody knows he's going to have to drop this ludicrous policy. Now, let me give him the chance to do this. 500,000 people have signed a petition against the policy. Why doesn't he, when he gets up at the dispatch box, not say he's postponing the sale, but say he's cancelling it?
I think once again he wrote the questions before he listened to the answers. And I think the bandwagon has just hit a bit of a tree.
OK, John, thank you very much. Let's get some reaction to this. I'm joined by the Shadow Environment Secretary, Mary Craig, who's in Westminster for us tonight. Thank you for joining us on this. David Cameron has been honest and done the right thing. You must be delighted.
We're certainly very pleased that they're withdrawing the wholesale sell-off of the public forest estate in England from the Public Bodies Bill. But this statement tonight raises an awful lot of questions. What happens now to the 15% of the public forests that are going up for sale in April? Will that sale still be suspended with the end of this consultation? And who are they exactly going to appoint onto this special panel? How can we make sure that sort of vested interests aren't going to take it over?
And what about your Environment Secretary Caroline Spelman tonight? She has been undermined in all this. It was her job to carry this out. David Cameron's just pulled the rug from under her feet.
Well, the Environment Secretary signed up for the biggest spending cut of any spending department, a 30% cut across the board. And what she's finding out now is that you can't make cuts of that scale and that size without hurting something. She's been pushed into this by the Treasury, but I think she was looking pretty stony-faced in the Commons this afternoon. Very humiliating for her.
What's caused this U-turn? Do you think it's the public pressure or the politics or constituents? What is it?
This is a huge victory for people power. Over 500,000 people have now signed the Save Our Forests petition on this. What the government didn't realise was the strength of public feeling around the policy, and what they didn't realise is that people really objected to being offered the chance to buy something which we all as a nation already own.
So you want to keep the pressure up by the sounds of it. What answers do you want?
I think that the government wants to make the noise go away, but I can promise you that from our side we will keep the political pressure up and we will make sure that we have very clear oversight of what happens next. We're very concerned about the 100,000 acres that are still at risk. The list of them was pulled last Friday in a written ministerial statement. That list is out there somewhere. When we get hold of it, we'll make sure it's on the web.
Okay, Shadow Environment Secretary Mary Craig, thank you very much for your reaction to that.
But the forestry clauses in the Public Bodies Bill, published well before we launched the consultation, gave the wrong impression as to the government's intentions. That is why, Mr Speaker, I am today announcing 3 steps which would allow for a more measured and rational debate about the future direction of forestry policy. First, I've taken a decision to end the consultation on the future of the public forest estate, and I take full responsibility for that. I am doing so because it is quite clear from the early responses to the consultation that the public and many honourable members are not happy with the proposals we set out. Second, the Government will support the removal of the forestry clauses from the Public Bodies Bill, currently at the committee stage in the other place. And thirdly, Mr. Speaker, I would like to announce to the House that I am establishing an independent panel to consider forestry policy in England. It will report to me with its findings in the autumn. The panel will advise me on the future direction of forestry and woodland policy in England, on the role of the Forestry Commission and on the role of the public forest estate. The panel will include representatives of key environmental and access organisations alongside representatives of the forestry industry. I will shortly publish its membership and terms of reference. If there is one clear message from this experience, Mr. Speaker, it is that people cherish their forests and woodlands and the benefits that they bring. My first priority throughout this period of debate has been securing a sustainable future for our woodlands and forests. On many occasions in the House last autumn, ministers gave assurances that our aim in all of this had been to do more to maintain and enhance the public benefits delivered by forestry, from recreational access to wildlife protection, from tackling climate change to sustaining a wide range of small businesses. This is why my ambition to provide a better future for our forests is undiminished. We have already heard positive suggestions about how we can do this. For heritage forests and all other woodlands, we have spoken to the RSPB, the National Trust, the Woodland Trust, the Wildlife Trusts, the Ramblers and other groups. The Forestry Commission has itself acknowledged that change is needed and will, of course, be fully engaged in this process going forward, as I know they have many ideas to contribute. We have also been listening to honourable members on all sides of the House, many of whom have set up their own initiatives and local groups, and we want to support them in this. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I am sorry. We got this one wrong, but we have listened to people's concerns. I would like to thank colleagues for their support through what has been a very difficult issue. I now want to move forward in step with the public. I hope that the measures that I have announced today, signalling a fresh approach, demonstrate my intention to do the right thing for our forests and our woodlands.